And hey everyone, welcome to another episode of
Hey,
IoT Live. I'm joined again by the fantastic Cliff Aegis there, that always comes with tea, which I think is very on
it's
brand.
IoT show.
Yeah, exactly. And I've got like
I'm a grumpy mug.
water.
I'm a grumpy mug. It's a gift from the kids. I'm not trying to. I'm not sure what they're trying to tell me, but yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen you grumpy, actually. Funnily enough, I was speaking to Adam earlier, Adam Jackson from the UK MVP team. Oh, he's not on that team, but I'll speak to him through that team. And he was talking about like some of the stuff that you and I have gotten up to, and he said, just think about like all the stuff that you forced Cliff to do recently. And he says, actually, I don't think you're actually forcing Cliff. I think he quite enjoys it.
No, definitely not. No, I quite enjoy doing this. Talking geeky stuff.
Yeah,
Stop me.
yeah, exactly. It's all
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
My
Right.
my voice is about to give out as well, so I'm imagining that tonight we'll probably finish at 10 o'clock, pretty sharp. And I know that Cliff, you've been across to Dallas again. It's
Again,
like a
yeah.
second
I go
home.
again in 2 days' time. So yeah. So yeah, flew back. We climbed out of Dallas last night. There was delayed departures because there's some pretty large thunderstorms kicking around the area. So yeah, we they closed the eastern side of the airport because all the storms are over that side of the airport. Dallas is that bigger place, and we parted off the western side and routed rounds. But yeah, it was waiting for a gap in the thunderstorms on the weather radar to get airborne and then climb out and then play dodgems as we routed up north and then up towards New York and Boston and Montreal and then across the Atlantic. Yeah,
Nice.
it didn't smooth out until we was north of we was quite far north actually of Dallas before it all smoothed out and got smooth and yeah we could turn the belts off and that. But yeah, it was fun evening at the office.
Do you have passengers?
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Bing
So
bong.
yeah, it was quite rough, quite bump times, but there's not much you can do about it. It is what it is. And the 7.8's got floppy wings. If you're ever on a 7.8, you get the privilege to sit a window looking out over the wings. You'll see them in turbulence. The ends of the wings flap, and it's quite funny. And if you connect a bit of string from one wingtip to the other wingtip, at max takeoff weight, the string would be above the center of the fuselage by about 12 feet. So two people could stand on top of each other, and the wingtips are that high. They like bend up like this. It's pretty impressive.
Jeez.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
certainly when it's
Anyway,
stormy, even in little planes, you see the wings bobbing up and
yeah,
down and people
yeah,
screaming and stuff like that. No, it doesn't happen.
yeah. So
Yeah. But yeah, vicious. It's all
so
cool though. I saw the photos. You put a photo on
yeah,
there of the cockpit panels and all of that. So it always looks dead cool.
yeah. I did a video on the I posted it on Twitter, and I have the
Uh,
southern tip of Greenland flying across
uh,
on the way out. So yeah, I did that for the Zen moments for the MVP summit next week.
yeah.
So just to keep so we're not allowed to talk about MVP summit, MVP buzz and stuff like that. No, okay, all right.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that video actually on there. I've not watched the one that you've posted on Twitter either. Interesting. I've just been rushed off my
The
feet
one
lately.
the one on Twitter is a lot shorter because
Okay.
Twitter gets upset if it's more than I think it was a minute. He got upset, so I
Yeah.
shortened it down to less than a minute. But the one for the MVP thing, they wanted a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
But it's just I think the idea is it's just the clouds going past, so everyone feels like they're on the flight to go to
Yeah.
the Hyatt Hotel
Ah.
in Seattle. So I haven't quite worked out what
Oh.
the Hyatt. Do you know what the Hyatt's about? Everyone's just like, I got the Hyatt, yay! Do you
Yeah,
know
it's the
what that's
closest
about?
one. It's on. I think it's the one where they pick up from as well. So they have all the event parties there normally, and the bus pickups, the minibus pickups are often from there. So yeah, try and get the
Oh,
Hyatt
okay.
so you don't have to walk. But everything is within walking distance, only a few blocks. But obviously, staggering up the stairs is far better than walking round the corner. Seattle's
Yeah,
reasonably safe. Although if you watch like
yeah.
Grey's Anatomy, it's not safe because people are dying on that all the time. Yeah, just wait till
I
episode
guess you
24
get
and
yeah, yeah. Uh,
geez.
yeah.
So anyway, we're not here to talk about flying, although I do like talking to you about flying because it's cool. But I mean, tonight we're going to speak a little bit about the.
Oh, I've got yeah. Okay, all right. So my wife's coming in to say hi.
Oh, hello.
Well, actually, to say good night.
Good night.
So yeah.
See you in the morning. Guest stars, I like it. We can do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, we're going to talk about a little bit about the Azure IoT SDKs and what the availability is there and where to find them and stuff like that. And then we'll talk a little bit about how you can contact and get involved with the Microsoft IoT team. There's quite a few different places of outreach and comms that you can get involved with. So I thought we could talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, sounds cool.
Probably won't be much.
And obviously the SDKs is good because obviously it leads into the AZ220 as well. So and there's certainly me and a few others that are all aiming to try and do that. So that'll help as well.
Yes,
I see
exactly.
Johnny Chips is in the chat as well. He's definitely trying to do his AZ220 as well. So he seems to be getting a bit more time to play with it than I am at the moment.
Yeah, I see, Johnny, you had a MX chip device. I think it's AZ3166 or something it's called. But yeah, that MX chip device is quite cool. You're going to be programming that in C. But I think you can put Azure RTOS on it even. So I need to try that at some point when I get
You can put Python on it as well.
Can you? Is it what, actual Python or
Yeah,
Python?
I know. I don't know. I just remember seeing Jim Bennett do it and scream and shout about it. It was a while ago now. He put Python on it, and then he was doing stuff with his daughter. I'm pretty certain it was a while ago now. Right. He had it run on there. I think it was actually before he went to Seattle, so it was a good couple of years ago now. But those devices have been around for 2 years now. Yeah, not longer. They've been around for a while now. Yeah. So
Chris C. Swim there said, yes, I've been playing with C today. Yeah, exactly. Chris C. Swim says he's got one as well. They're good. They're really good for in-depth stuff and just getting going with the Azure stuff. So if you're not all that interested in actually what's on the device, you just want to read temperature, humidity, and do that normal time to cloud type, get it connected thing.
The standard IoT cloud stuff, isn't it? I'll just send temperature and humidity. We need to think something new. We need something new, a different sensor.
We could do gas. We could do gas sensing, but I mean that's pretty standard as well. But I don't know what we could do.
Do something else.
I don't know what you put on there.
I don't know, GPS or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be quite cool. Although I think there's, in fact, if you follow along, Benjamin Carbay's got a follow along for that it doesn't do GPS, but I think it sends some fake GPS data, an asset tracking workshop, which is really good to work through with that MX chip device. Actually, he's got video for it and everything, so yeah, you can go check that out.
Because if you send GPS, you can then do all the NEMA coding and stuff like that for GPS data. So you can then work out all sorts of metrics from that. You can then get velocity, vectors, and the likes. And then you can also, if it's got SBAS or GBAS, are the two different systems around the world. But that is where that's a ground-based augmentation system, is what GBAS stands for. And what that is stations that are bolted to the ground at known locations where they've been surveyed. And then they get the data feed from the satellite, and then out on the discrete radio frequency, they send out the error. So they know where they are, and the satellite's saying, "Oh, you're here," and they say, "Actually, I know I'm here." So the error is 2 meters in that vector, and it sends it out on the radio frequency. And it's how we can get commercial aircraft to land so accurately, or actually make approaches accurately. We're not allowed to land using GPS, but the ships have been using them for years, which is why all the GBAS systems for the UK are all around the coast of the UK, and you get all down the eastern seaboard and places like that. So it's quite a clever system, but that's the sort of stuff that you can send up to Azure instead of temperature and humidity. It's like fun.
Yeah, I think I understand temperature and humidity more than all of the words you've just said just there, Mr. Airline Pilot.
Well, no. But I was playing with that before I was, actually not with the GBAS system, but with the GPS stuff before I was flying. So, it's been around for a while.
So Chris in the I'm sorry, I'll just call you Chris because it's easier than say Chris C. Swim. In the chat there saying that he's worked for 20 minutes and broke IoT Central, not showing any new data, but data still being received by IoT Hub. The only time I've seen that, I've seen that a few different times. One of the reasons I saw it was actually with a client in IoT Central, and he'd made himself a board and I've written him some code, and the board would be offline for large periods of time, and then when it come online, it would send the data up to IoT Central. But we timestamp that data as we save it to an SD card and then read it back out again. And so we send the timestamp. You can send the timestamp with the telemetry, and IoT Central will honour that timestamp and put it in the right place for time series insights, the service that's built into IoT Central. Only he'd done something and reset his clock, so it was sending data from a week ago or something, and he was there scratching his head. And to be fair, I scratched my head as well because I just didn't expect it, because it connects to a cellular network and it should RTP at that point and update its time, but I think he broke the code, so it wasn't. And so scratched my head for ages, and then realised what it could be and checked, and lo and behold, the data is actually there. You can see it; it's in raw data. And Chris, were you trying that? Did you look at? You said the new data was still being received by IoT Hub, but you're using IoT Central. Did you look at the raw data for your device and have a look at see what it's actually sending up, see if it's receiving it properly? And often what I'll see is that something will change and the data will go into unmodeled data rather than being passed through to a device templated template.
So it says he's got it. Azure CLI was working, and he's getting the data in Azure CLI, but just. So you're not getting it in IoT Central, but you're getting it in the CLI. So, okay.
Yeah, you can monitor the IoT Central IoT Hub endpoint in the CLI, which is what Chris is doing there, I guess. But check the raw data. If you go to the device that you've got set up in IoT Central, and then you have a look at that, there's a raw data tab, top right of the tabs there. And have a look at that. It arrived for the first 20 minutes. Yeah, have a look in IoT Central. In fact, I can show you. Look, let me do it. If I switch to,
I've gone all weird.
You have, in fact, that's very. Mine did that once. You'll come back in a minute, I'm sure. In fact, if I do this, maybe if I do that, you'll
I look fine on OBS Ninja, but just not on the.
Yeah, you've gone all. You've been
Are you
encrypted.
Getting OBS Ninja?
No, you look fine on OBS Ninja on this side. It's whatever's on there. I don't even know what I can do about
obviously
that.
Going out. Yeah. Okay.
What can I do about that? I'm not sure.
It's obviously the ugly filter's kicked in. That's what it is.
yeah, you did something that offended it there. So I wonder if I get rid of. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. Where are you, host 2? OBS Ninja Cliff. There you are. Let's just try turning you off and back on again. Nope, that didn't work either. Let's double click on you. So you come back.
I'll come back shortly.
You will.
I'll be back.
I'll change this. Let's do that. So that should go, and then I can put you back again. Yeah. Oh, there you are. So I've taken you away and put you back again, and you should come back now.
Okay.
So I'm sharing my screen. So if I go to Open Remote Monitors, one of these. So this is one of my clients' one. This is open source anyway, so I won't mind me showing you this. But if I go to devices, and then go to this one particular device, then we've got a raw data tab. And if you click into that, then it gives you the data that it thinks it's receiving into IoT Central. And so some of it is fine. So you can see we've got, what have we got here? For find one that's actually got some telemetry in it. It's not particularly good examples. But you get some unmodeled data in there as well. And just checking that unmodeled. It's because it's in there. There we are. So if it doesn't get modeled correctly, then it doesn't know what to do with it. It sticks it in there. And that data timestamp is what I was talking to you about there. Is what I'm sending up to get it to go to the right time and date and everything. And then that timestamp there is the one that IoT Central adds itself.
So that unmodeled data is stuff that it doesn't have it doesn't have a property within the model.
Yeah, exactly.
To stick it into. So it just says, well, I don't know where to put this, so I'll stick it over here for you.
Yeah, exactly. So if I go to device templates and into this remote monitor, then you get all of these capabilities and telemetry of these ones here that you can model against.
Yeah.
So I've got all of those in there now. Because I'm doing this over cellular, I'm actually splitting up all these different readings all into separate bits, because you can only send us a packet size of a certain size. and this particular board's
Yep.
got 12 different sensors on it, and that with the board information was too big. I think it was 1K or something is all you could send. It's not very much in a packet,
Yeah.
so I split it all up. So that's
Yeah.
the reason why that looked a little bit different on there. But yeah, check in there, Chris, and found that 20 minutes worth of timestamps, then nothing. So that's really weird.
It's
Fire
not
it up
like
again
a
now.
20 minutes seems like a test or beta kind of account or something like that. It's not like something like that, is it?
No, it shouldn't be.
I don't think there's anything essential, is there? There's nothing that says that you've only allowed 20 minutes to play with.
Yeah, no.
Don't know.
It's really odd. I mean, it's like perhaps the device credentials were wrong.
Says it's working again now. So
8,000 messages on free. Yeah, 8,000 messages. That's for an IoT hub. Is 8,000 messages on free. For IoT Central, then you get 2 free devices, and I think 400,000 messages a month or something like that. So I don't know. That might work out to be 8,000 a day or something. I'm not sure, but I only said about 100. Yeah. So yeah, it's dead cheap actually. It's 50p a device after the 2 devices that are free IoT Central, and generally you pay for overage message charges if you start sending a lot of messages, and that's where the cost really adds up. But 50p a device isn't too bad. It works out all right. So SDKs. And Chris, obviously send us any information if you get stuck there. What's Johnny Tripp saying up there? You had to try the OTA updates earlier using device twins and a storage account. That was cool. Okay. Do you mean the new IoT Hub device update functionality? Which perhaps not, because I think that's pretty specific at the moment. Or do you mean like updating properties on the device from the cloud using the device twin? Is that what you were talking about there, Johnny? I imagine that might be it. So anyway,
Pete, on your audio is like I'm not sure if anyone else can hear it. When you're talking, it's like a noisy line, like a clicking. Not sure if it's just me, but
are you listening to the Twitch stream or are you listening to what's coming out of OBS?
Yeah, OBS Ninja I'm listening to. I've got Twitch stream silence, but yeah.
Yeah, so long as it's all right on there, I guess. So long as it's not too bad,
Yeah.
it should be coming out of the mic on here. So I don't change it because I might lose you entirely. Then I've changed the setup recently, so I've got Cliff's actually on my phone, sat on top of my monitor over there because this PC, even though it's the top of the range Surface Book, can't handle it. Twitch seems clear, says TRP8472. So thank you for that. That's good. I mean, Cliff, you just have to put up with it, mate. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'm proud of it. I was working with HF last night, so yeah. Johnny Chips, updating firmware over the air, grabbing bum file from storage account. Yeah.
Bin file.
So actually, proper over the air update bin file. Yeah, I did wonder what bum file was for a minute. Sticky buns. We all like sticky buns. It's nearly Easter, isn't it? Hot cross buns.
Yes.
Yeah, so over the air updates. So yeah, that's kind of cool. That isn't
I've
it?
not
Being
tried
able to update the device. Yeah.
It is. So we have the new IoT Hub update functionality, which I think is really based around like a Linux operating system. I know Microsoft have got their own version of Linux that they're bedding that on. So been having some fun with a unified network this evening. I was tempted to bin the IoT. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that.
No, lot.
Oh, bin the lot.
You got
okay.
IoT on the brain, yeah. LOT.
yeah, lot. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, well, it kind of looked like IoT. Come to an IoT stream and get a bin it. Yeah, get out. No, so it's just me misreading it. Yeah, I got that too. Happy days. Sample code base and the IoT workbench. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I've not looked at that sample code base there in a while actually. There's just so much that I want to actually. I mean, I don't spend all that much time in things like Stream Analytics and Time Series Insights. Weirdly. If I'm going to do those for clients, then I'll use IoT Central because it's built for you. Although Streaming Analytics, you won't get all of the nice functionality in that. But you can use Streaming Analytics to hook up Power BI and stuff, and I've not spent much time in Power BI. It really just depends on what areas of the stack the clients need from me, and generally IoT Central just works. It's just dead good. It contains most of the functionality you need.
It's also cheaper as well.
Than Streaming Insights, certainly. I'm not.
Time analytics can get quite expensive quite quickly, can't it?
Yeah, Time Series Insights. Yeah, I think it can be.
Yeah, TSIs, it can get very expensive very quickly.
Yeah, and then again, the Streaming Analytics, I tend to just use a function app. So I mean, unless you want to do windowing and stuff like that, which Streaming Analytics will let you do quite nicely, and hopping windows and sliding windows and all of those different things. which I don't spend much time in. Because again, like you say, they're expensive. And when you say cost to client, they just want the cheapest, fastest way of doing it. And IoT Central just gives you that. So although I've written exam questions on it and I've played with it, I've never done very much with it in production, interestingly. So I tend to just use Azure Functions and, transform my data in there. So cheap and fast does not equal security, though. Yeah, that's true. Although the security is built into IoT Central as well. Everything's going over a 256-bit encrypted MQTT or AMQP channel, and if you're doing it properly, you'll be using certificates rather than SAS keys and stuff like that. So it's just joined. Carl is here as well. Hey, Carl, how's it going? Nice to see you.
Hey, Carl.
Thanks for coming. Let us know if you've been playing with any IoT today, Carl. I know that you often get some time to do that as well. So, I keep starting this conversation and then I keep distracting myself. But Azure IoT Hub SDK. So, I'm guessing that a lot of people will have used these, but it's worthwhile just having a quick run through the docs and stuff that are available on this. But it's a bunch of somebody else's code that you can use to connect devices to Azure, the Azure IoT stack. And there's two sides to these SDKs. So you get a client SDK, and then you get the service SDK. And the client SDK is made for the devices, the client side, so connecting devices up to IoT Hub, for instance. And then the service SDK lets you manage the actual service, the IoT Hub service. So, provisioning devices and getting device twins and listing that sort of stuff out of it is what the two difference between those SDKs are. Now, there's IoT Hub device and service SDKs. I need to turn zoom it on. Zoom it. There we are. Down here. Oh no, I pressed 2. Oh, it's all gone wrong. Yeah, so they're two SDKs, and they're the main ones that you'll probably end up at least beginning with, if not using for the most of it. And so you'll spin up a device client in your code, and you'll do the majority of your work through that device client, so sending messages and receiving messages and reacting to direct method calls and twin updates and stuff like that you were doing through that. The service SDK, as it says there, it's back-end applications managing the actual IoT Hub. A little bit further down, then, you've got these provisioning SDKs as well. So this is about the device provisioning service, which when you get serious about your IoT solution, then you'll be using that for zero-touch provisioning for devices. So you have a registry of devices that are able to be able to register themselves to an IoT Hub built into there. So you can either have an individual enrollment for all of them, or you can have a group enrollment. And then you can take a device dials in and says, hello, I'm this device. And it says, all right, well, let me see if you've got some privilege to be able to do something. And it'll say, all right, well, yes, you've got a particular IoT Hub assigned to you. Now, you can assign an IoT Hub, or you can have it assign it for you based on things like geographical region and stuff like that for latency. Because it could be that you've got a spread across the world, and you've got many IoT Hubs spread across the world, and when it dials in, it needs to know from where it's dialed in to give you the closest IoT Hub to you. And then you can have it deprovisioned and reprovisioned depending on where you go as well in the world. So DPS is quite a cool service, so you can check that out on your own time on there. So that's kind of the main things. Now you get them. I'll go on.
The DPS is separate. I just want to just chuck in with questions, but so the DPS is a separate service for IoT Hub. It's not part of IoT Hub or Central. It's a separate thing. So the device will dial into DPS, and DPS say, okay, I want you to connect to this IoT Hub. Yeah. Send back a connection string. So, right, your connection string to connect to IoT Hub number 3 is this, and then it says, all right, thank you very much, and then it connects that, and it doesn't need to talk to DPS anymore. It's now connected to the IoT Hub.
Yep, exactly. Unless, of course, it deprovisions itself from that IoT Hub and then needs to reconnect, and there might be some manual actions that you need to take. Or write an Azure function and hook in the client SDK, the service SDK, to be able to deal with stuff like that. But there's a workflow for deprovisioning and reprovisioning as well. If a device is already provisioned, you can have it connect back to DPS and it get deprovisioned and reprovisioned somewhere else if it's moving, if it's on board a ship or a plane, for instance, perhaps. Yeah. Although there's some downsides and upsides to doing that. So but you mentioned IoT Central. This is built in. DPS is built into IoT Central as an offering because this is software as a service rather than the platform. You get DPS, you get the IoT hub, you get time series insights and security and graphic dashboards that you get from Power BI and stuff like that. So yeah, I know I rage on about IoT Central, but that offering is fantastic and always being improved upon as well, constantly innovating there. Try to access the IoT Central app that I created last week and found, but can't access it anymore. URL must be misspelled. May not have access. You can find all of your IoT Central applications if you go straight to IoT Central. And then go to the IoT Central page, and then build a solution, and then it'll take you to apps, and then you can click My Apps, and then all of your apps will get listed in there. So if you forget what the URL is, then you can just go to apps.azure.iotcentral.com/my apps. I'll stick it in the link in the chat. Also, I really should have my notepad open with my link thing in it. That would help. So that I could put these sorts of things on the screen, links.
I'm with you there, Johnny. I struggle picturing all the components and how they relate to each other. But yeah, I try to sort of build the picture up in my head of how it's all coming together. Yeah.
What was that? Sorry, I missed
The
that.
way I'm saying is Central is basically just everything in a box, and they've built it for you, and you just go along and play with it. An IoT hub and DPS and time series insights and everything else is just the components on the desk, and you have to put them together yourself. That's how I'm trying to think of it.
You've got the core components. So you've got IoT hub, would be sort of the front door of, don't get that mixed up with Azure front door, which is completely different. The front door of your application, so all your devices are communicating through that. DPS would kind of sit in front of IoT hub as your way of ingressing devices, but that's only temporary once they're provisioned, as Cliff has just said. Then they talk to the IoT hub from that point on, and then so you've got you've got this reference diagram idea. If we take it back, so you start with things on the far left hand side, which is obviously all your devices, and then you get actions, and you kind of put IoT hub and all the stuff that you're going to do with it inside there, and then you get then insights afterwards, depending on what you got in that. So
visual, your Power BI and back office stuff. And
yeah, exactly. Like and in my head, I always get those two mixed up because I don't think the words are actually quite. Because an action, I don't know. If you're just ingressing data, I suppose it is an action. But yeah, it's what you do then with the data.
I think the action is also more to do with not just ingressing the data, but what you're going to do with the data once you got it in. You're going to store it, so you're going to act on it, store it. You're going to act on it, and get it to send a message back because you quickly need to turn the heating off because the temperature's too hot. Whatever it is, that ship has gone out the geolocation, so send a message. So that seems to be the action bit in the middle. Mm-hmm. And then the kind of last part, the Power BI, is just the looking at historical data afterwards. It's getting up the diagram. There we go.
I am, yeah.
Being images, wouldn't it?
There we go.
Oh, there you go.
That's not a good one, actually. I don't particularly like that. There's a better version.
No, it's missing. It's missing all the bits, isn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't feel right, but it kind of has got it. So we've got. If I do that, then obviously we're talking about
because the hub sits on the kind of the boundary between things and insights.
The edge of the cloud. In fact,
the edge of the cloud. Yeah.
But not to be confused with this edge, which is a completely different edge down there as the Azure IoT edge. And then you've got it's that way around. It's insights first, and then actions.
Insights first, yeah.
Yeah. So I always get that two mixed up, which will land me in bother one of these days if I'm not careful. So this is where you're going to hook the data out into something else. So there's Stream Analytics, SA, and Azure Functions and storage, Logic Apps, Cosmos DB. I don't see TSI on there, interestingly.
They've not got it there, have they? But you also got you got Service Bus and stuff like that in there as well, haven't you?
Yeah, that's a methodology to be able to get the data around.
I remember it's an exam thing. It's 5 of them, isn't there?
Service Bus, Event Hub, Event Grid. Well, they're the main 3.
Yeah, so you got Event Hub, Event Grids.
Oh, topics and subscriptions is the two. That's you've got that for that. So there's a far better diagram than that I've seen. What's this one? No, I mean, what? Let's have a look at this. It's probably exactly the same one. Yeah,
Prob-
it is. Yeah.
It's
Looking
probably in
images.
the images, unless I've updated it recently. But
Maybe.
the one the one we used for the all around Azure was better.
It was. Yeah. Let's see if we can. It's kind of like this. Let's have a look. The one that don't like any of them. You're right. The one that we had for AAA IoT was way better than that.
Yeah, all around Azure was much better.
Find it. Don't know. Yeah. I'll pull it up actually. Being as we're talking about it. Presentations all around Azure. Presentation. This one here. PowerPoint. What else am I going to open a PPTX in? And well, it's it's kind of just text, but this is it. It's not really just text. So if I tell you what, I'll actually turn the presentation over and see it properly. And there we are. So we have the IoT devices and all these gateways and edge devices and all of that. And then you can have a cloud gateway, and then which can be anything, but IoT Hub is a cloud gateway. Or you can have a custom cloud gateway, which is not too dissimilar to what we did with Benjamin doing the Things Network stack on Azure would be a custom cloud gateway that we've got there. But yeah, IoT Hub down here in the middle, and then your data transformation path there. So that could be Stream Analytics, or it could be an Azure function or anything like that. And then you can do some form of stream processing there, and then UI and reporting as well, which would be Power BI and stuff like that. But obviously all your warm path and cold path and hot path as well, which they don't show on there. And then some form of business integration. So always things, insights, and then actions. And I just the reason I get these two confused is because I don't know. They kind of
I get them confused as well. They seem as if they're saying the same thing.
Yeah, I mean this is like collection for me rather than action. Insights, because insights should happen after you've collected it, shouldn't it? You kind of take insights from the collected data, so it's kind
of no, because you get the insights and you act on those insights.
Yeah,
so maybe that's where they're going with it. You got to look at the data, the insights from the data, and then you act on them insights.
Yeah.
So do I need to send a technician out to empty the mousetrap, that sort of thing?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I should understand this right down to the lowest level, essentially, but it confuses my brain. It just doesn't speak to me at the right level when I'm doing this. And I've given this talk now a couple of times as well, and even then, I want to put actions and insights the other way around every now and again. It's just me, I guess. So we digress again, but it's good. We can digress on this show. We're halfway through. You've got all of these SDKs. That are going to save you from writing code, and there's a whole heap of benefits as well. So I mean, if you there's a benefits page here, benefits of using the Azure IoT SDKs. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit, future proofing and leveraging features designed for a complete software solution, which I find interesting. And then different platforms. So you can see we can do C, C#, Java, Node.js, and Python. And there's two flavors of that C SDK now. So there's the regular full-fat C SDK that you deploy onto something like Linux, and then there's also the embedded C SDK for constrained devices like an ESP32 or 8266.
I think they're dropping the C SDK for the larger devices, though. I read that earlier. I was looking.
Really?
I was looking, is that new? It was on the previous page. It said that it's been on the previous page further down. It said that it's been dropped.
Oh, interesting.
In favour of higher end. Is there somewhere? I can't see it now, but in favour of the higher end languages like C# and Python and stuff like that, and Node. But they're leaving the embedded CSDK because obviously you need the embedded one because you need it to be lightweight.
That's interesting. I mean, I watched a video on this earlier. And I'm just going to post the link to this in the chat as well, by the way. And while I'm there, Chris says that his test drive a 7-day trial. Oh yeah, maybe you did that. You should be able to get like a 12-month subscription essentially.
As a subscription,
to Azure. Like a pay-as-you-go subscription. So as long as you've got 2 devices in our IoT Central, it'll be free anyway. But you just obviously need to put your credit card details in. That's the only thing. But TRP8472 as well said the context of Microsoft guidance could be a little clearer. Yeah, using the same name for different things. Yeah, and I mean, even while I've been creating that Pluralsight content and going through just the IoT Hub setup sequences, which have changed since I've recorded the content, annoyingly. But some of the wording on there they couldn't get clear. They can't even capitalise things correctly in some places. So there's some stuff that does need tidying up as far as documentation is concerned. And Microsoft are going through a recruitment process, hiring people in to help with that process. So hopefully that'll get tidied up at some point. Which Pluralsight course TRP8472 asked? Well, now you're talking.
Well, there's some great ones. I watched a new one last night on the flight back, Pete. It's brilliant.
Oh, thank you very much.
It was an area that I was not struggling, but I kept, whenever I was looking at the question bank from MindHubs and going through the question, they were the ones that I kept kind of struggling with. So hopefully now when I next look at them, I'll have a better understanding of what I'm. I realise there's so much rich data in that drop down list. I've only ever scrolled a little bit and then realised there's so much
in
stuff
the metrics. In the metrics, you mean?
In the metrics, in the metrics list, yeah. So.
Yep. That's dead good. So TRP 8472. If you're in need of if you've not got a Pluralsight subscription, then I've got some free 30-day licenses that I'll happy if you reach out on Twitter to me. I'll DM you a 30-day unlimited code. There's some 7-day ones that you can use, but I think you're limited to a few hours or something. Mine are unlimited. So the only thing you've got to do is go watch my courses. It's like a prereq of me giving you the code. I'm kidding, but I'm sure you will. But yeah, there's a bunch of us. So Jürgen Cavalier's here, and myself, and James Miller, and Reza Salehi, even, apologies. I've been creating a bunch of Pluralsight courses. Now, the course content is changing on April 24th. And so we're in discussions with the editors over at Pluralsight as to what we do about that. We can't give you content for the exam before it's changed, because you'll go to the exam and there'll be a bunch of questions in there that we may not have even covered, and we'll have covered a load of content that you didn't need to know. But after April 24th, then you're going to need some new content. So we need to do some redevelopment. There's quite a big change coming to AZ220, which we briefly spoke about last week, I think, didn't we? So...
yeah.
If I get that up here, so you can find out about AZ220 if you've not looked before. I've watched the first 2 main blocks in Pluralsight, Pete and Jürgen. Couldn't find the last topic.
Last topic of what?
Of that part of the OD, you mean? I'm still writing. I've got 2 more parts to this last part of the OD to do, Johnny, and then I've got 2 more courses. But I've just been.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I think that's what you're saying. Well,
it'd help if there was it'd actually help if there was the OD and then links to the Pluralsight pages.
Yeah, that'd be nice. And
that's a blog post. That is actually, Pete.
Yeah.
Either yourself or Jürgen putting a blog post together and saying, right, here's the OD, here's the link to my one, Jürgen's one. That'd be a great Pluralsight blog post.
I've got
and then you can see which bits are missing.
Yeah, now there's a channel. If you're a Pluralsight member, then there's a channel there for this particular. I can never remember what it is, but there's a channel with it all listed with all the bits. That link, that Bitly, will give you nearly all of the Azure IoT courses, though, so you can go and find them in there. But there's no learning path created, and they won't create it until the whole set of courses are there. Usually they just put placeholders in, but I don't know why they're not doing that. But yeah, go check them out. They're really good. I've not had much time to go and watch all the other authors' courses because I've been too busy writing my own. But I will go back and watch them. But yeah, they're well.
I've watched all of yours, all of Jürgen's, and I've not watched any of the others yet. So I've watched all of yours and Jürgen's, but not the others.
Yeah, Rez has not done that many, I don't think. Cool. And neither is.
I think it's only one. I think I've seen. No, I've only got one on. I've only downloaded one anyway.
Yeah, he's done a couple. I think James Miller's only done a couple as well. 3. Look, three so far. And these are really old. That Matt Honeycutt one, that's just really old. Content now.
In fact, don't watch that because it's really, really wrong as well.
Yeah. It's using the old portal and everything. So
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
it's old. This is the
All
most
the
up to date
it's
stuff.
got the old CLI and everything. So I went through that and learnt all the things. And then what's your one when you first did it? I was like, it's all changed. Oh no.
Damn it. Yeah, well, I did that after I recorded it and I went to it's all changed. Damn it.
Yeah.
But yes, reach out on if you're not got a PluralSight license. I've got a few of those to give away, so do reach out and I will give you one of those. What am I missing in the chat here?
I
Peach
think
a bottle of whiskey.
Johnny's talking about booking his exams soon. He's had a full day yesterday and most of the day playing. I've still got, I need to commit some time to it, but I've just not had the time.
Johnny and Cliff, when you do that, in fact, specifically Johnny, if you're going to do this soon, I haven't taken the exam. I wrote the exam and you get given the credit. So I've not taken the exam, and I've not taken any Microsoft exam as it happens. So I don't know how that process works directly. I know you go and book it and a Pearson VUE or somebody like that, and they give you some time. And I've read all the blog posts and watched the videos, and I know how that all works from that point of view. But I'm going to have to write a blog post and a course essentially about how you go about taking it, what the experience is like. So I may tap you both up for that information, so I can write that.
Johnny, are you using any of the things like Mind Hubs for the question banks? Be interested to see if you're using them or someone else. You've done a load. Yeah, I went through a load and I only bought a month of it, so
I think
it ran out a couple of weeks ago.
Do you mean you've done a load of exams, Johnny, and then God no, I've not done any Mind Hub? I don't know. I'd recommend it. Those Mind Hub things are on point. They are quite a good place to learn. I know Paul DiCarlo recently went through the Mind Hub stuff and credited a lot of that. He does wish that my courses had been there. Of course, he said that, but never heard of
Mind Hub. Mind Hub's really good actually. You're bringing it up, Pete. I'll let you do it.
Yep.
Carl codes after Mind Hub as well. But yeah, you can basically it's got all the Microsoft exam prep guides on there. It's got sample questions, which Paul DiCarlo says are very similar to the exam. They're not the same, so you can't learn the question bank, but they're very similar. And they quite often have sales on, so it's like £80 at the moment. But if you give it,
there's one there.
There you go. You save money on it. But yeah, I bought it was a salon a couple of months ago, and I bought a month of it, which ran out a couple of weeks ago for me. And I was hoping I could get through it and but I only managed. I think I did 3 or 4 run throughs of the exam, but it saves all your stuff in your account, and then you can obviously buy another month. Really, really good for learning the because it's a style of the question. It'll give you like a scenario. The next 5 or 6 questions will be about that topic. And sort of say company X is installing all this kit, and then they'll ask you questions about the best way of doing that, and they've installed it and now it's broken, and how would you work out what's wrong with the devices? Well, you watch Pete's latest course and it tells you. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly that. There's a demo here somewhere. I can't see it now, but I'm sure I've been through a demo.
You can get a demo. Yeah, you can there's normally a demo somewhere. Yeah. Free demo. There you go.
I'll launch that anyway. I've got just under 20 minutes left of the show, but it's good to go through this. I mean, I helped create the exam, and now I'm creating the PluralSight content. I'm proud of this exam, and it's a really great way to go and not only show off the fact that you know what you're talking about, but also if you're learning it, then it gives you a direction to go and learn and stuff that you wouldn't normally go and touch. So it's like so you got 2 different ways in the certification. So
CRP 4872 says so it's not the exact wording of the questions or the answers, but it's just the way the questions are put together is exactly like the so they're building out the CLI commands, filling the gaps. So you'll do the drop down list there, and it will show you the different answers you can put in that gap, and other ones you drag them, you got to put them in the right order. So it is, what will go in there. So you put in your bits and bobs in there. It is pretty decent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is exactly. I mean, having created these questions, this is exactly how it is. So yeah, and certainly the way I've made my content, and I'm assuming that Jürgen and and the other people have created it in a similar way because they'll have taken the exam. But I tend to show you. I'm not going to point you and give you the answers, but I'll take you through in a way that, you know, if you follow through the course, then you'll have covered the bits that are going to be in the exam in those particular areas anyway. But again, I'm quite proud of it, so I don't like to give the answers away. But there's an exam alert at the end of each section, and that gives you some scenarios to work with as well. So not in this style, a slightly different style, but yeah.
TRP 8472 says can't afford exams at the minute. It's just tough out there for those that have been hit by the pandemic and likes. But wasn't there a way of getting a free exam ticket?
Yeah, there's if you're happy to, if you come and join the NOTS IoT community. So let me give you a link to NOTS IoT.
See, segues, Pete. We're getting there. We're getting there.
You're very good, Cliff. And in fact, you don't come often enough because you're flying half the time. But if you come and join,
I miss loads of them.
If you come and join NOTS IoT, then let me just get the link.
Andy, TRP 8472 is called Andy.
Oh, Andy. Hi, Andy. How's it going? Thanks for that. Let me get the link. We are running a cloud skills challenge, and if you come and take part in that, then you will get a free exam voucher. Now, it's predicated on the fact that you do need to come and join the community, because the whole point of this is that I grow the NOTS IoT community. Now, we're virtual, so you can join it from anywhere in the world, and theoretically, it's fine for me to give the exam vouchers out to people anywhere in the world. There's also prizes. Now, if you're in the UK, you can't win them, sadly, mainly because of shipping and customs problems. But let me just get that link to the Cloud Skills Challenge if I can find it. Here we go. It's up here. Let's see if this works. I'll paste this in the chat as well. Oh, no, not like that. Let's see. Yeah, my changes aren't saved. Don't worry about it. Don't you worry yourself. Yep, there it is. So let me just paste this in the chat.
You know what I'd like to see you do, Pete, is it'd be really cool for NOTS IoT is to get someone from the Raspberry Pi Foundation in there that built Pico, one of the engineers that built Pico.
I know.
That'd be really cool. They do talks, because I've listened to a couple of them doing podcasts, so they do get out there. It'd be really cool to contact and get them on NOTS IoT.
I've sent messages before asking if Eben Upton himself would come, but you just get stonewalled. Don't hear anything back, sadly.
Yeah, he probably gets all the update. But if you ask one of the other team members, that'd be kind of cool, I think.
It would be. Yeah, I would like to get somebody like that on for sure.
Yeah.
I'd like to get somebody from Arduino as well, and from all of the different device manufacturers. It'd be really cool. It'd be cool to get a round table, wouldn't it? Imagine getting like
Lady Ada from Adafruit.
Yes, yeah. It's some awesome people.
She's awesome. She's awesome engineer. I'm in awe of the work she does.
Woohoo! Look at the top person.
Done all 14. All 14.
Oh,
wow.
Oh man, good one.
Johnny's going for it.
But yeah, so
is that just alphabetical order now? Is that just alphabetical order?
No, I think it's just the last person that got to 14. Because Sander was there originally, immediately, because he'd already done it all. Look at me, I've only done 2 of those modules.
Yeah, I started one when I was out in Dallas, but didn't get very far with it. But I'm just thinking, if it's alphabetical order, I'll obviously be at the top, because C is before J.
But it doesn't work like that anyway. We pull the numbers out of a theoretical hat. So we put all of the people that have done it into an Azure spreadsheet, and we use a random number generator to be able to choose who wins. So it is truly random. But everybody that takes it, I think I've got 30 exam vouchers that I can give out. But you need to have taken part in this, and you need to have at least come to a few NOTS IoTs. Now, this is running for 3 more weeks. So if you can at least come to one more of those NOTS IoTs, then we've actually got Sarah Maston from Microsoft Project 15, which is all about sustainability and ecology and stuff like that. It's really cool. And that's on the 8th of April. That's not actually that long now. So yeah, do take a look at that. The link will be, I'll create the meetup soon and put that. I need to do it quite soon, actually, because that's not long to the 8th of April now, actually. It's an early one because I made a mess of all the dates. And ended up having to do it on the 8th. One of the dates happened to be my anniversary, my wife and I's anniversary, so I had to move that one quick.
It's not going to work out very well for you there, Pete.
No, there'd be a mistake. That would.
Yeah.
So there's that. So yeah, go and do that. In fact, it finishes on the 12th of April, so not long. I've got to produce some Microsoft training material for the 12th of April as well, which is quite a tight deadline. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. So we've spoken again. We keep getting distracted.
That bit I said, actually, if you go down, it was the service. Where did I put it? It was the service IoT Hub service SDK for C is the bit that's been depreciated.
Oh, here.
So there you go. Stop there. There you go. No longer active development. So they're getting rid of the C, and I get that because the service one is for interfacing with the with IoT Hub and everything else.
Yeah, so what are you doing?
You're not really going to be writing interface layer with. Yeah, you're going to be doing it in C# or something else, aren't you? Not in C.
No.
I've got a weirdo friend that does nothing but write C, but he's odd. So he won't write it unless he can write it in C. But yeah, there you go. He seems to think it's all quicker and better and faster and everything else. It's like, well, yeah, but I can do it and I can write it quicker in C# and be running before you are. That
sounds
tortoise
good.
and the hare.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, that's right. Oh, geez. Olivier Block's session, which was like an AMA. It was like an Ask Me Anything session with Olivier Block.
It was really cool, actually.
It was dead good as well. And Olivier's a really cool guy as well. We had him on this show as well a week before last or something, didn't we? And I really like Olivier.
Yeah.
So I like the whole of the team. Actually, is a really welcoming team. Which we've got 10 minutes left, and I've barely got to it. There's a whole heap of. It's all open source, by the way. All these SDKs are all open source, so you can go to the GitHub repositories. So that's the C one, and then there's a Python one, and a Node one, and a Java one, and a C# one. And you can go and have a look at how that's all made, and there's examples in there of how to use it and everything. So all these samples here. So it's well worth going and checking that out, or check out if you want to look at the Pluralsight stuff. I've got demo code with the Pluralsight stuff you can download as well. So yeah, go and check that out. Authentication, send and receive messages, device twins, direct methods, all of that lot. All hanging
so
around.
You could run that C# one. You could run. You could write a .NET 5 now, a .NET 5 app using the C# thing and put it on a Raspberry Pi or even a CM4 Compute Module 4.
Yeah, like this. I mean,
yeah, like that one.
Yeah.
This one we played earlier. See these segues
exactly.
we keep doing. But yeah, I mean that's a cheap way of getting a device on the edge, and then you've got a bunch of GPIO, I2C. If you run out of GPIO, you can just put another chip on there to extend that.
Yep.
It was Raspberry Pi. There's hats out there for this, that, and everything else. You can even hang it off the network and do PoE, Power over Ethernet.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a great way of getting into it if all you know is C#. And
it's C# as a first-class language in the IoT stack there, but it doesn't appear to be pushed very much internally by the IoT team, and I think they're missing a trick because there are a lot of C# devs out there, and if you could leverage that user base of C# devs, and certainly now with it being cross-plat with .NET Core and .NET 5, like Cliff's just said, you can put it onto a Pi, and the beauty of it is, there's not much you need. So you've got this device client just here. I'll zoom in a little bit and get rid of that.
I recognise this. This is your Pluralsight.
Yes, it is.
Code, isn't it?
So you include this device. You need the NuGet package. So if we go back to here, then there's a NuGet package here for the Microsoft.Azure.Devices.Client, and you just do that .NET add package Microsoft Azure Devices Client, and then that will bring it into your CS Podge file just there. That Microsoft Devices Client there. And then in your code, you include it, obviously, using statement there. And then you have a device client that you can put wherever you like, but I've just put it there so it's globally available. And then the actual part that you're going to do down here is this client is a device client.create from connection string. Because I'm not using certificates for this particular demo, it's using a connection string which has a SAS token built into it, so symmetric key authentication there, and then you get to choose the transport type. I like MQTT. I've had some issues with AMQP, where it would connect and it would take a long time to actually finish connecting. I'm not sure what it was doing. It was hard, but it seemed plenty repeatable.
Would that be the handshakes backwards and forwards? Because AMQP does a lot of
but
to and fro in to secure it.
Really slow. Why am I waiting this long? MQTT straight away. And then once you've done that, then you can do stuff like up here you can add message handlers. So this is dead easy. You just point it at the message handler and then give it the right format here. There's a name for that, which I can't think of. The correct interface. And then you can just grab that message stream, convert it from a bunch of bytes into something that's a bit more logical.
So it's very similar then. They've modelled it on HTTP client.
Yes,
they've called it a client. It's fairly similar to that, isn't it? You send a message, you receive it back, and then you read it out as a stream reader or JSON back into the format you need.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then you send messages. You need to convert them to ASCII into a byte.
Byte array,
yeah, exactly. And then you can just send that up, and then you can hook up these methods, direct method calls as well, which you're going to do up on here. Look, so set method handler, and then you give it the name, and then once you've registered that, IoT Hub knows you've registered that. So when it calls into it, it knows to call, perform update. If you do that from the service SDK or you do it directly from IoT Hub, then it knows in the device that it's going to call into the perform update routine. And then you can do something. So messages are meant for like point in time. I want you to do something, just turn the fan on quickly for me. Perform update that's something I've created, but direct methods, essentially, they want a proper response of a result back. So it would be like something like this, a perform update, and then you get to set the timeout as you want it.
A bit like calling a server then and getting a OK 200 back or a 303, that sort of thing. So that's the way I've mentally kind of modeled it in my head anyway.
Yeah, well, it's true, because look at what I'm giving back there. So method response, and then you actually get the HTTP response. Exactly that. So there's two different timeouts. You've got the direct method call timeout, so it wants to know that it can actually connect to the device, and that can time out. And then there's also the response timeout, and that's just going to depend on how long it's going to take. Now, if you know that your particular update, for instance, is going to take ages, it's going to reboot the device and start an operating system and all of that, then you can give an immediate response just to say I'm working on it, and then you can sync the status of that particular job with the device twin. So long-running stuff you can stick in there, and you can write IoT Hub jobs against that device twin to be able to check the status of all these updates that are going on, things like that. So yes, but it just makes life so much easier. Now, a good use case of this was one of my client projects. I showed you the IoT Central portion of it, that open remote monitor. That's an ESP32 based system in C, and doing that you can get the Arduino IDE up and the library manager, and you can search for Azure, and you've got some libraries that you can include for header files. Which is fine, and you've got IoT Hub and HTTP and MQTT and Wi-Fi and that sort of stuff. Ignore the MQTT client there by Andrew Yaddy. That's nothing to do with what we do. There's actually an update for this, but I don't do it because I'm on 1.38 for a client code, and I don't want to break his code, so I will upgrade at 1.39 as it is there rather. So you can pull all that right in anyway, and go on.
I was just going to say, there's a new version of the Arduino IDE now, up to version 2.
It is.
So
that's
1.8.
Right. I don't
come out very recently.
I don't do anything in the Arduino IDE. No, I use VS Code.
Neither do I.
And you can do it all in there as well. So
I use full fat Visual Studio and Visual Micro.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you can do it in there as well.
Yeah. The reason being is because the VS Code calls into the Arduino IDE under the hood. So just calling into, so it's still using the Arduino IDE under the hood, whereas VS Micro in Visual Studio is using it, but it does a lot of stuff separate, and you get all your debugging and the likes as well.
That makes sense. Just looking at Chris saying that the IoT Hub device SDK for C can be used with a broad range of OS platforms and devices. That's quite right. Having at least 64K RAM, yes.
Can, yeah.
Yep, quite right. Supports the SP8266 and 32. I've got a 32 on my desk just here. This is one that's got a little screen on it. It's a Heltec device, quite cheap. So I was having a quick play with that last night, but I've run out of time, like I always do. Arduino put Platform IO much better. Yes, indeed, I've got Platform IO in here. Look, there we are, Platform IO.
Yeah, Platform IO is pretty decent.
Yeah, that works okay. It's not as straightforward as you'd expect, because you've got to sort of import your Arduino project into it, and then it creates like a project around. But once you've got it in there, then you've got JTAG debugging and access to stuff like that. So, yeah, it does work quite well. But yeah, I need to get back to that because I've got a bit of ESP32 work to do.
There's link to Visual Micro in the thing. I like it because it gives me back debugging. So you can do live debugging in a board that you couldn't normally, and you don't need a JTAG debugger either. You just need I've got these Tinsy boards I'm doing some stuff with USB host on, and these I'm just plugging in a USB and I get debugging on those. So it's quite impressive install of software for Visual Studio, and it allows you to control everything within Visual Studio. So you get your full kind of power of Visual Studio in there as well.
So
which is kind of cool.
Chris is saying the Platform IO VS Code extension might give it a go. Mac, no go, interestingly. Didn't realise he couldn't do it on a Mac. Is that because the Arduino IDE isn't on the Mac? Or is it on the Mac? I can't remember.
It's a Mac version of the Arduino IDE, isn't it? I thought it was.
I can't imagine why there'd be any other reason why it wouldn't work other than that, because it should be pretty cross-plat VS Code. Tried it on Windows a long time for Visual Micro, yeah. Carl Code's okay, definitely hitting a bit of a...
Visual Micro, yeah, because it's designed for Visual Studio, not Visual Studio for Mac. That'd be why.
Right, that'd be it. Carl is saying, yeah, Carl, this is my life, welcome to it. That is definitely hitting a bit of a Dunning-Kruger effect. The more I learn about IoT, the more I realise there's a lot to learn. Yes, and that will never go away, sadly. Yes. And it will only get worse, in fact. So, yeah, geez. But I love it. I love the learning side.
We're all imposters. We're all imposters.
Yeah, absolutely. As I was explaining earlier, I don't spend a great deal of time in TSI and streaming analytics, but there will be people out there going, oh my God, it's amazing. I can't believe you don't know enough about that. So, yeah, I know kind of the broad strokes, but yeah, geez. If you asked me to actually sit there and wire it up now, I'd be in the docs following along, which would actually be the case for a lot of stuff that I do. The docs are amazing.
We all Google everything, and docs.microsoft.com is my go-to place for anything.
Yeah, definitely. So just before we go, because we're already over time, there's we've spoken about the SDKs, but I wanted to speak as well about the ways that you can get in touch with the Azure IoT team. Now, there's a few different ways of doing that. There's this tech community is a great place to come. So it's because I've zoomed in, it doesn't look very good, but this is a place where the IoT team, amongst other people, will produce blogs on the content around Azure IoT. So look, Azure Live Video Analytics and Azure Sphere, the Azure SDK and more Azure Sphere stuff. Look at this, Percept. That's that resilient.
Yeah, we've got to get one of those.
Yeah. And I'm talking about ways of sort of keeping in touch with the team. That watch the IoT show and the deep dives with Olivier and Pamela, and they're fantastic as well. And come to places like Knox IoT, because we'll quite often have the team on there as well, as we did with Olivier, and we've had Benjamin, and we've had Pamela, and we've had who else? We've had Paul DiCarlo on there as well. So that's been good. I've even produced a post on here. And I'm even on the next page now. It was that long ago, so you can see it wasn't all that long ago actually. So it's kept up to date quite nicely. This is so where's my post? It's like down here somewhere. There's my post. Look. So I'm likely, as Cliff said, to do another one of these where I'm just going to list the OD sections and put pointers to all of the Pluralsight courses in there. So all around Azure, that was a fantastic event that Cliff and I were involved in. You can go find that content on Channel 9. I think, in fact, if you go to that, there's a link to that. But I don't know if you know, but there's also a Microsoft IoT group on LinkedIn. So I tell you what, maybe start putting posts in here. If I need to go back.
I didn't know there's a LinkedIn post.
There is, yeah.
I have to join that.
So that's the tech community. This is the LinkedIn group. Let me invite you, shall I? Cliff.
Yeah, why not?
There we go. Done. I invite Johnny as well. Look, John Lunn. He's already a member. John already knows about this. What a surprise, John. What about Carl? I'm not connected to Carl. That's quite a surprise.
Need to fix that then.
I do, yeah, exactly. But yeah, go check that out. Let's invite you to that. So that's worth looking at. Stack Overflow, the team do monitor Stack Overflow as well. So you can see here, look, there's a bunch of IoT questions on there, and I was trolling through, I forget what it was, and I found Benjamin Carbay's name on one of the answers. So the team do keep up and look at that. So I'll just paste the link, even though you know how to search in Stack Overflow. Chris, Azure IoT Hub and Central seems to be a complex beast in comparison. Central is great though. The docs around Central are really good, and the videos, the learn content, and that sort of stuff are good, and it's well curated, and it sort of handles a lot for you. But yeah, the whole IoT platform can be a bit complicated. And then there's this Q&A as well, Microsoft Q&A, and so there's an Azure IoT section to that. This is.
Has it moved over there now?
Yes, it has.
So
Yeah,
everything's moving across slowly, isn't it? Xamarin moved across a couple of months ago, so.
Yep. So
yeah, they're closing down all the old forums, aren't they?
So if you type in Azure IoT forum, then you'll find it. But 2020, September 2020, I think was the last post in there. So everything's moved across here, and that's well followed as well. And then what did I want to say? Oh yeah, there's a Discord. So I don't even know how I invite people to this, but there's a .NET IoT Discord channel manned by Ella Back and a few other people there as well. And there's channels for all the different bits in there. And if you've been following along with my IoT robot project, when I made the discovery about how to stop it from being jerky with software PWM, that was as a direct result of asking a question in this Discord. So that's another one that people don't know all that much about. So go and check that Discord out as well. I don't even know if I can invite people or if I can send a link, but Azure IoT.
I'm not a Discord user, so
I wasn't either. I don't even
click on little arrow next to the .NET IoT. Apparently, is what Johnny Chip says you got to do. He's obviously a Discord user. No, at the top. You got go up.
Oh, here.
Yeah. There's a drop down arrow. There you go.
Invite people. There we are. It says Discord link. Good on you. Microsoft buying Discord. Oh, that's a filthy rumor that might be true. Yeah, it's possible.
10 billion.
Yeah.
Wow. I thought,
Yeah, it is possible.
The amount of money that Satya's chucking around,
Cliff just landed.
There you go. I'm in. Yeah.
Look at these.
Johnny Chips just landed as well. Yeah. All in Discord now.
Yep, there we are.
So I need to join the. We've got a Azure-ish one as well, haven't we?
We have indeed. Yeah, let me invite people to Azure-ish.
I need to join that one. I need to get the link and join that one as well.
It's in the chat now. There we go. Done.
Cool. I'll join that one.
Yep, go check that out as well. And there's all sorts of stuff in here. There's an IoTeaLive channel in there, which has got no conversation other than me waving to myself, which is very sad. So come and join that as well, and I'll try and keep my eyes on that amongst other things. So it's well worth checking that out. So there's a whole heap. Obviously, you can also go and troll and find and stalk the IoT team on LinkedIn. So you will find them on there, and obviously it is entirely within their purview to accept or reject your connection request. It really just depends. So don't get upset if they don't, because obviously you can imagine they get quite a lot of people trying to connect with them. And I guess the way I look at it is that when people try and connect with me, I look to see whether or not they'd add value to that network on LinkedIn. Sometimes I get people that connect that just look very random, not even in the right sort of area. And I don't tend to connect with people like that. But if it looks like you're in the IoT space or something relevant to me, then I'll likely connect. And that's the same for the majority of people on LinkedIn, I guess. So, yep, go check that out. There's also a Nano framework.
Andy's saying shame Microsoft let Mixer go. Yeah, but
it wasn't working for them, was it? There's a UWP community here as well, and if you're doing Uno platform stuff, then Uno have got a channel in there, and I know that Jerome Laban himself will man that. And Jerome's an awesome guy. He does a Twitch stream just before.
He's done some amazing stuff with Uno platform.
Yeah, it's
very
really,
impressive.
It's really cool. I do like it. So yeah, Discord's really good. I don't use it a massive amount, but I have found value in it when I have used it. So Right, anything in the...
It's all the different. You got Discord, you got Slack, there's too many.
Yeah, that's true. There are a
You
lot.
stick them all together.
The good thing with Discord is you can just join. You don't have to sort of be... once you've got the invite link, you're just off and running. So, I like that feature there. So, that's good that Carlco's and everybody's all here. So, woohoo! Whether or not they'll thank me for that, I don't know. But, we're bringing in good people, so I'm hoping they will.
Yeah.
So there's that. So, we've kind of covered the topics that I really wanted to cover tonight as it is. And my voice is already started to get very croaky. You've probably heard it get more and more croaky. And I've run out of water now, so I can't even lubricate it. And it's a school night, and I can't even have a beer because I tend to promise myself not to drink during the week.
It's the IoT show, not beer show.
That will do that one soon. When we go back to in person, we'll have the IO beer version of the IoT show.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, we'll do that in Seattle when you fly us out there, Cliff.
Yes.
I like that idea. So, normally we'd be doing Thursdays. If I'd have planned far enough in advance and I had enough time, then one of the ideas that I had was actually running through end-to-end, connecting an ESP32 like this to Azure IoT. So everything from getting in the libraries into the Arduino IDE, if you wanted to do it that way or whatever, and then getting it hooked up to either IoT Central or an IoT hub and sending the data up there. So that it will still come because it's still on the list of things we're going to do. But probably the next thing we're going to do is with Paul DiCarlo doing NVIDIA Jetson, that I know Johnny mentioned there earlier, that Paul's running a series of...
Mine's in the workshop.
Yeah, mine's behind me over here.
When are we doing that, Pete?
I'm not doing tomorrow.
Away yet, isn't it?
No, it's not. There's one tomorrow, 2 p.m. I believe, over there. And then it's
tomorrow?
Tomorrow. Tomorrow, Wednesday. Yeah, tomorrow. It's Tuesday
tomorrow?
Today.
Sorry.
Wednesday tomorrow. Tuesday today.
No, you've lost me. We're talking about Thursdays.
Oh, no, sorry. I thought you were talking about when's Paul doing his NVIDIA Jetson Labs that Johnny's doing. He's doing a bunch of labs. Sorry. Yeah, no, Thursday, we're not doing anything this Thursday, I don't think.
Right, yeah.
Because we're kind of on a hiatus until we get Paul, which is in 2 weeks' time. So that's likely what we'll do, unless we change our minds. But I'm just mega busy at the moment, so I might just have to give it a bit of a skip for a couple of weeks until that point, with all the different things I need to get on. You want this plural site content creating, yeah? It needs finishing.
Yeah, because I've got to take the exam for April 23rd.
Yeah, I need to get the content out before then as well, otherwise it's instantly stale, and that would be bad.
Get a move on.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Well, I've only got one more course and an exam alert to do, and then the rest of it can go stale, and hopefully Pluralsight will pay me to fix it. So, yeah, exactly. Is it still March 2020? No, it isn't. It's definitely 2021 now, but it just feels like 2024, the length of time it is. I owe many, many people a beer as well. I'm looking forward to going around and buying people beer, because during this last year, I've used up quite a lot of social equity, I think, with people, and I know.
I think we all have.
Probably.
In the grand scheme of things, the beers all wash out, but we'll enjoy drinking them all.
Yes, we will. And definitely at a time when you don't have to fly, Cliff, because obviously you're teetotal during that time, and that would be boring.
Yeah.
But if you don't drink, it's not boring. I'm kidding. So, so that's that. So my voice is going to go, so I'm going to leave you with it. But thank you very much for coming, everybody. It's been awesome. Do get in touch with us. We're on Twitter at IoTeaLive. That's IoTeaLive on Twitter. Just send us a message on there, and we'll get back in touch. Or join our Discord.
Twitter handles are just down there.
They are exactly that.
Yeah.
Get in touch with us on there as well. At Clifford Aegis and at Pete_codes. Join that Azure Discord, because you'll be able to find us on there as well. And yeah, keep in touch basically, and we'll see you again this time next week, Tuesday 9 p.m. GMT. Thanks very much, everyone. See you soon. Cheers.